Hey everyone, this video is long overdue, but happy to finally get this one made for everybody so you can have a visual instead of just looking at the scoring live stats instruction manual for Power Play SportsEngine website. In this video, we're going to show everybody how to find their hockey games on Power Play SportsEngine website. Reminder, currently right now for the winter spring 2025 season, Power Play is using Crossbar, not SportsEngine, for the Southern New Hampshire League page. So if you are working anything for the Southern New Hampshire region, you're going to want to stop this video and find our video for Crossbar, which we have links for within the Documents tab under Power Play's website, folder within the Scorekeeper folder. If you cannot find it, please feel free to reach out to the association and we'll provide you the link as well for YouTube. Okay, so for our example here, we're going to show you how to log in. So again, powerphockey.com is the website for Power Play Hockey League using the SportsEngine website. Once you get to their home page here, you're going to click Login. And of course, it's going to log me into my own, so stand by. I got to log out. So you will click Login, and then you will use the username and password that is given to you within the PDF scoring manual. Again, this scoring manual can be found within the Documents tab inside of Horizon WebRef. You would go into the Power Play Hockey League folder, followed by the Scorekeeper folder to find this PDF. On the first page, you'll see username, which is SHO capitalized, lowercase Scorekeeper at gmail.com. You'll click continue, and your password will be capital S, capital H, capital O, underscore, capital S, and then the remainder will be lowercase for Scorekeeper, and then the number 1. You will click sign in. If you have the option to save, make sure you save. So when you first initially log in, you'll see again that the login is being presented and you don't see a username. This is a SportsEngine glitch. All you need to do is click login again, let it refresh, and then you'll be seeing that you're now logged into the website. So now that you're logged in, you now have access to score your games. You'll know that you're logged in by looking right here. You'll see the globe and any emails, things that you don't have to worry about. So don't worry about this anymore. You want to make sure that this is showing on the left-hand side. And what you're going to do is you're going to look for edit mode here. And as you can see, it says you do not have permissions for editing this page. Please note that no one has edit mode access on any Power Play pages except the game schedule pages. For an example, a game schedule page would be this page. Of course, I'm clicking every single league that they are actually using. This is the game schedule page. Here you can then click edit mode and you'll have access to it. Every other page on the website other than these game schedule pages that can be found by selecting the league that you're working, that's where you have edit mode. So now that we're logged in, the next thing we need to do is find our game sheet for the evening. So what you'll end up doing is you'll go log into your Horizon WebRef and you'll click your personal game schedule. And here's my game for this evening. The date is the 20th of February. Game's at 9 o'clock. Important, you're working the Marlboro League, B Division, Rink 8. I understand that we are supplied with the home team and away team. Unfortunately, Power Play sometimes changes these teams, and they do not tell Seacoast. That being said, if the teams in Horizon do not match up with the teams in SportsEngine, we want to go by what's in SportsEngine, not Horizon WebRef. So, okay, I know that my game's on the 20th at 9 p.m. I'm now going back to Power Play's website to look for the Marlboro League, and the game's on Rink 8. So Marlboro being in Massachusetts, I will go and select Massachusetts. Power Play has everything divided up by region. Metro West, South Shore, Boston Metro, Northeast, and Western Mass. If you're unsure where your game is, feel free to put your cursor over it and it'll lay out what the leagues are. I already know that Marlboro's in Metro West, so I'll go to Marlboro and click Marlboro. I'll then click Game Schedule. And now that I'm on this page, I will click Edit Mode and I'll turn it on. We've confirmed that edit mode's on because the switch is now turned from off to on, and you can also confirm because you can now see this caution layout. So now that I have edit mode on so I can access the back end of the game sheet, I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct day, February 20th. Looks good. And now I'm going to find my game. You'll look by location and time. It looks like it matches up with my Horizon assignment. NESC, Rink 8, 9 p.m. Now, in order to go into your game, you will then click under Status, the game time. Something that I will request right now before we continue, please do not go into your game sheets until you get to the rink. Because if you get into this page and you click Score Live, I'll show you exactly what happens right now. So now that that's in there, and we refresh this page, if you go to score the game and click people in, etc., the game will then show that it's in status and this game time will disappear. Teams will then complain to Power Play looking for their game times, etc. It's not going to be there, and then Seacoast gets contacted. So I will request that all scorekeepers, please do not click this link until you are at the rink and you're ready to actually get prepared for the game itself. So okay, let's click 9 p.m. From this page, we will click Score Live. We do not do quick score or edit stats. These are not functions that we are to use. We are only doing Score Live. You'll click this and it'll open up a new window. So as you can see in here, this is our preparation page. There's two tabs in here, the game details page and the team/rosters page, followed by the score game. We're going to do things on both tabs. So starting with game details, we're going to make sure that our league, the periods are correct. Because we're in Marlboro, this is one league that does not do 3 17-minute periods. They do 3 15s, so it's already preset to 15, so we're looking good here. Our next step is we're going to add our referees and our scorekeepers, so you'll always click 3 fields to open up. You'll switch the last one to either official scorekeeper or scorer or scorekeeper. I don't care which one you select. I'll go with scorekeeper. You will obviously put your name in. All we need is your first initial and then your full last name. Now, if you're unsure of who your officials are, all you need to do is go back to your assignment and you can see the names of the officials right here. So we will be placing their names in here. I already forget who else. All right. These are the only 2 things that you are to do on the game details page. We're not touching anything under scoring, nothing under game time and length. Do not touch anything under location and weather. Do not add the venue. Leave everything else blank. Everything else blank. The only 2 things you're making sure of is that the periods match up with your league's time, and you add your referees and scorekeepers here. Once this is complete, you will click Save Game Details. You can either click it here or here. They both do the same function. And then we'll go to the second tab, Team/Rosters. As you can see, these teams have done their job and they've put in their rosters on PowerPlay's website. What you will then do is you will wait for warm-ups and request during warm-ups the captain to hand you a paper roster game sheet of everybody that is accounted for tonight's game. You will then receive that paper game sheet and you'll cross-reference it with the online rosters and check in the players that are active on that paper roster sheet. If there's someone on that paper roster sheet that you cannot find on this online roster, you need to identify them and reach out to the captain to make sure you know who this person is. We need to make sure we know everybody who's on the ice in the event that someone gets injured or someone gets a major penalty that removes them from the game. We need to know who these people are for insurance purposes and legalities. So please make sure that we're asking captains for paper roster game sheets during warm-ups. If these captains refuse to give you a paper roster sheet, you let them know that if they do not hand one to you, you will have to notify the association, and then DOPS will get involved and possibly suspend the captain. You let them make the decision. If they still decide not to hand one to you, you immediately text Jared Matrano and let him know your game assignment and which teams refuse to hand you a paper game sheet. Now, in the event that if we do not receive a paper game sheet, do the best you can during warm-ups and using a notepad that you should be bringing with you to every game and write down the numbers. You'll then start to check mark the guys that are there. And it's important that we select a goalie. This team does not have an actual goalie. They just have an AI goalie or a sub goalie, so we'll click that goalie. Alright, let's just say that these are the guys that checked in for the game. You will then go up to starting goalie. You will select the goalie. And another thing to note, if you do not select a goalie down below, you will not have access to the goalie up top. Goalies that are active down here are the ones that show up in this field. And you do need to select a goalie here, otherwise SportsEngine will not allow you to get to the next page. So now that we've selected the active players that are available for tonight's game, we've selected our starting goalies. We will now go and click Score Game. Before we leave this page, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we no longer select all active. We're not clicking these buttons anymore to select everybody. It is crucial that we make sure that we select anybody that is at the game, because Powerplay now has rules that every player must play X amount of games to be qualified for playoffs. So please do not select all active. I can tell you now, Powerplay is now reviewing rosters and checking to see which scorekeepers are still selecting all active. So please save yourself and save me the headache and make sure that we get these paper roster game sheets to select the people that are actually present. So now again that we've completed this, we're going to go to the game sheet by clicking Score Game. And this is your game sheet. For many that have score kept other games before, this is clearly not a paper game sheet that we're all used to. SportsEngine lists their game sheet in a chronological order. So all events that happen in the game will be seen under this playlist tab. As you can see, the first thing that starts this game is the start of the period, 15 minutes of the first period. The buttons over here, our play actions, are what adds playlists to this game. The things that we need to worry about are our goals, our penalties, if there's a goalie change, and to start a new period. Shootouts won't be worried about until playoffs. If we have to get into that protocol, that's when you'll utilize that. You don't need to worry about face-offs, turnovers, hits, block shots. If you're good at it and you feel comfortable, I do recommend keeping track of shots, but it's not a full requirement at this time. So the next thing we'll do is, if there's a goal in the game, we'll select goal. Let's just say the goal was scored by Hagen's USA, so we'll select the team that scored the goal. And you'll see that there will be continuous drop downs giving you options. So here you can select the goalie that was in net, that was in the net for Steve's Pizza. And then we'll select the players that's, the goal scorer and up to 2 assists. So the referee comes over and says goal was scored by 13, assist by 19 and 21. So our goal scorer was 13, our first assist was by 19, and our second assist was by 21. Let's just say that it happened at 12:57 on the clock. So we'll put in at 12:57 in the first period. And then you'll select how the goal was scored. Was it even strength, meaning 5-on-5 play, 4v4, 3v3? Was it a power play? Was it a shorthanded? Or was it on a major power play? Since we don't have any penalties yet, we'll select even strength. You do not need to do any plus minuses, so don't worry about this. And you'll select next play. Now you will see the period is still the first period, but the clock has changed from 15 minutes to the newest event that has happened on the playlist. So now our clock is at 12:57. You can also see this event is now added to the playlist. So if you were to need to go back and edit it, let's just say the team, there was a mistake on the second assist. It wasn't 21, it was really 25. Now you can go back, change that. No need to hit next play. All you need to make sure is that this has changed back to green. It means that it is saved. And now you can go back to the newest event that is happening. Let's now get a penalty. So the referees are now calling a penalty on Hagen's USA. So we'll select Hagen's USA. The penalty was done by number 3. So the skater is Douglas Bell. Douglas is serving his penalty, so it is now served by number 3. And he got a tripping penalty. So it's all in alphabetical order here. You can scroll down manually if you want, or you can use this field and start typing tripping. Here we go. We can click that. And it happened at 10:29 in the first period. All right, so our tripping penalty was a minor call. So we'll select that it was a minor. But you do have options for all different scenarios. Minor penalty, a major penalty, a double minor for 4 minutes, misconducts, if it was a penalty shot. You have all your removal opportunities right here. All different types of penalties. So we'll click a minor for 2 minutes, which results in a power play. And we'll click next play. And before I click next play, I want you to see here how it says red. Since this has not been done and finalized yet, it's not green. But once I click next play, watch that red turn to green. Now that event has been saved. It's now on the playlist and it will be on the game sheet. If this is not turning from red to green, it means that you have lost Wi-Fi connection or your laptop or iPad is not connected to the internet. Another way to find out if you're connected or not is by going up to the top right and looking at your connection. You want to make sure that this is in green. If it's in red, it means that there's a disconnection and you need to reconnect to the Wi-Fi. That being said, before we continue, I will remind and recommend everybody to bring a notepad and pen or pencil with you to every single game in the event that you do not get Wi-Fi, your laptop crashes because it's too cold in there, etc. Always take down these game stats, these events on paper, and also do it online. Save yourself from the headache and possibly losing out on money because you forgot to bring a notepad, your laptop crashes in the second period, and now you have no way to keep track of stats. So as we continue, we go back to our newest play. We're at 10:29, and let's just say nothing else happens in this period. What you will do to get to the start of the second period, you'll click Start New Period, click Next Play. Our event has saved, and now we're starting the second period. It is crucial that you click Start New Period at the end of each period, because if you do not, the system will continue to think that you're in the first period. All right, let's just do a quick one here just for fun. Goal was scored by 7. There was no assists, so you will leave these as bench. It happened at 13:32 of the second period, and it was an even strength goal. Hit next. The last thing I want to go over here, it really doesn't have to do with the system, but it more so has to do with making sure that we're inputting proper penalties. Let's just say a player gets a major penalty for head contact and a game misconduct. Okay? Anytime a player receives a minor in a misconduct or a major in a game misconduct, it is crucial that the scorekeeper inputs 2 separate penalties. We don't put in just the misconduct. We got to make sure that we put in the minor if there's a minor in a misconduct, or we got to make sure we put in a major and we put in the game misconduct as separate penalties. So let's just say that a player on Hagen's has received a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for head contact. We will then click penalty. We'll select Hagen's USA. The skater, let's just say Chris Wilson, received the penalty. Since he is no longer in the game, he will not be serving the penalty, so we'll need the referees to bring in another person to serve his 5 minutes. And let's just say that they had 21 served, so you'll then put 21 as serving the skater's penalty. And we'll look for the infraction, head contact. Let's just make up a time. So now you'll select a major 5-minute penalty for head contact, and it results in a power play. Now, just because we put in the major penalty, that does not give us on the game sheet the fact that this player also received a 10-minute game misconduct. This is why we need to then select a penalty again and get the same player, 25. And no one needs to serve this penalty, so you'll leave it as bench. But then you will also click head contact again. You'll leave the time. And then you'll select down below a game misconduct penalty. This does not go into a power play sanctioned criteria, so that does not happen to be a new power play. So you'll select no power play and click next play. So now we have correctly input this penalty on the game sheet. We called number 25 for 5 minutes for head contact, which is the major. And we also put down on there that he received a 10-minute game misconduct for the infraction of head contacting. The head contact. Jeez, I can't even speak English, guys. Please do not put a game ejection in here, misconduct, or whatever. You need to put in the actual infraction that they're calling, which was head contact. All right, we have our both green lights, meaning they're saved. We're good to go. Nothing else happened in this period, so let's go to our third period. We had a goal by Steve Pizza. Look at me. I'm already screwed up, guys. So, all right, I made a mistake. Click delete. Hit start new period. We're now in the third. Steve Pizza scores in the third. Happens at 8:05. It's an even strength goal. Next play. Okay, game is over. Before we get to the finalizing of the game, it is now important that we have the referees take a look at our iPad or our laptop and make sure that everything is inputted correctly. It is also important to know that if 25 who is removed from this game is the exact 25 that the captain gave you on the paper roster game sheet. If 25 on the paper roster game sheet is a different name from the one online, if it's not Chris Wilson, Jared Matrano needs to be notified immediately so we can make sure that we are suspending the correct 25. Okay, referees have reviewed the game sheet. We've gotten the green light. Everything is done and all set. We will then go to the top. We'll click finalize game. Referee has signed off. We will now put our last name in the field. Click finalize game. and the game is now scored. Here we can see Steve Pizza has beat Hagen's USA 2-1. We can see our scoring summary, everything in here. We've put in everything correctly. We've put in all the stats. And we can see that our officials for the game this evening are right here as follows. We've done our job. Now, if you were to have a second game tonight, the way to go back to your game schedule would just be click Game Schedule tab right here. And then you would re-find your next game. So if this was the 9 o'clock game, you would look for the 10 o'clock on Rink 8. Click the next one, and then follow the steps that we showed in the previous under game details and rosters to score the game. This is how to score your games on PowerPlay SportsEngine website. It is important to note again that if any players are not on the roster, leave all those as bench. Do not add a new player into the team's roster to score the game. If someone who scored on the ice is, again, not on the online roster, leave it as bench. Other notes is if a team gets a penalty and a player cannot be found online due to no numbers, you need to ask the referees to ask the captain for that player's name. We need to make sure we know all players that are being removed from a game due to any infractions. Please help DOPS get these bad players out of these leagues and help us by finding these names. The last thing we want is referees sending in an incident report saying we don't know the name of this player. Again, I will highly recommend that every scorekeeper brings a notepad and pen with you. In the event that your laptop crashes or iPad crashes, you have the stats on a piece of paper so you can score the game once you get home. If the website is not working, again, you can use your notepad, or you can go back in and go into the Documents tab inside of Horizon WebRef, go into PPHL's folder, and under the Scorekeeper folder, there's an Excel file game sheet that you can save on your desktop and utilize that in the event that SportsEngine app has crashed and you can't get into your online website. You can then score the game on the Excel file game sheet, save it, and send it in via email to seacoast.hockey.officials@gmail.com so we know that the game is scored and we can have PowerPlay score it because their website is no longer working. Lastly, and most importantly, Seacoast has shared this multiple times, but we want to make sure everybody is fully aware of this. There is a scoring deadline to get these games inputted on PowerPlay's website. All games must be entered on the PPHL websites by 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the following day. Games that are not entered by 12 p.m. will be deducted of $5 per game on the game fee. This is PowerPlay's protocol, and it's part of the duties that you're getting paid for. Please make sure these games are scored by 12 p.m. the following day. If there is a reason that you cannot score that game or games by 12 p.m. the following day, please contact your assigner or Jared Matrano to let us know what's going on so we can help you get those games scored before deadline. Just so everybody is aware, PowerPlay Hockey League has an automated email and filtering software that goes out and searches all their websites and searches all games that has happened from the day prior and all games prior that have not been finalized. It gets inputted into an email and sent out to all PowerPlay staff and Seacoast Hockey officials assigners. So we receive an email with all the games that have not been scored in advance to know which games are going to be fined and docked $5. So again, please let us help you. If you're having issues getting games scored, let us know so we can figure out a way to prevent any deductions from happening. We don't want anybody losing money, but this is part of the duties, and they're asking you to get this done by a certain time, and that's why they're paying you what they're paying you. All right. This is everything that you need to know on how to score your games for Power Play on their website. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Seacoast. Again, this scoring manual is within the Horizon Documents tab, which can be found in Power Play's folder and also under the Scorekeeper folder once you're in the Power Play folder. Thank you for your time. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.